first time now.
Yeah.
So is this your first time to be in Japan?
Yes, this is the first time now.
What is your impression about this country?
It's nice. The people are very kind. It's cold.
Yes, it's winter.
Yeah, but it's we had a lot of fun up to now, and the people there are marvelous. And yesterday the crowd they go nuts completely, and that was really fun.
Okay. So this time the drama Ralph could not come to Japan.
Now we had a suggestion when we started the S.D.I project again. Because Ralph is very busy at a large firm in Germany. And he said, okay, I'm in it, but only for 2 years. So, and these 2 years ended last summer. But in April, the promoter of tonight's show came up to me and offered this gig. So I went immediately to Ralph and ask him if we just do this one extra show. And he says, of course, I'm going to Japan. But unfortunately, he ran out of time because he had to work. And Christoph was always the extra drummer. He belongs to the band, normal. But he only plays when Ralph hasn't got the time. He just made this for security reasons, because in some cases he didn't know if he can come to the gig, and then Christoph stepped in. So it was this night or this on this occasion, because the whole premise is moving, and he has to be there because he's one of the chefs, and that's the thing that could happen in business. So he couldn't come with us, and Christoph stepped in, and luckily they are on the same level. And we are close friends, so there's nothing between. So this is the reason why.
S.D.I's music has been always very original. It's very hard to find other bands that sound like S.D.I. So what bands were your main influences?
My main influences were the music that I heard when I was about 14 or 15. It was Deep Purple, Whitesnake, and more blues orientated, and sometimes, because of Richie Blackmore's playing, classical orientated. So that was more this older stuff. And then, of course, like everyone else, in the late 70s, when the new wave of British heavy metal came up, I was very astonished and influenced, of course, but the grounding were already set in this literally thinking of music as a song. And that differs us from other bands in heavy metal, because I believe in songs, I believe in singing along, I believe in having a structure in a song, and a good song you can play in every style, you know? If you want to play Coming Again, it's no problem to do it as a reggae. Come on, I'm coming again, beware. And this way, and every S.D.I song works this way. You can put it as a jazz song or whatever, and that differs. Because, and the other difference, of course, is that we are really singing and not growling, and everybody can do what he wants, not to make that to make that clear. But that differs. The only thing what differs us from the old band is that we play everything 3 times as fast. So we are a speed metal, that we are. And but why we are invited to thrash metal festivals, I don't know. It's just the people recognize us as a thrash metal band, but I think we are a normal rock and roll band that plays fast.
So what was the trigger to play fast?
That was just, I have to get the back of it, because we had a band, Ralph and me, that was named the Blackjack Company, and it was a rock and roll band. Now, this was musics in the style, a little bit popular style like Bon Jovi was in those days. And that was really fun. We were close friends, and we wanted to make a record. Of course, we wanted to be rock stars, of course, like everybody wanted to be in the 80s. So, but every time we heard the same, nice, good show, you're looking good, everything's in perfect age, but Bon Jovi is already working for us. So, do you know somebody who plays fast? Because thrash metal, that's the thing, or speed metal, that's the thing that's going up. And I was frustrated a bit, and I asked Ralph on a normal rehearsal, if he could play as fast as he can. And he practiced on double bass playing, and he was really fast. And so we decided to make a demo, just the two of us. And this was this Bloodsucker demo that came out in 2015. And they, and I sent it to 4 record companies, and the very next day I had a deal, but no band, not even a guitarist, because it was clear at this speed you can't play the guitar and sing. So I have to choose what I do, and I choose the bass. That left me the opportunity to sing, and I asked the guitar player of Black Jack to join. This was Frank Thiesing, and we joined, and then we did the first album.
So was it
6 weeks later, with only the 4 songs on the demo, no band, and then a whole album 6 weeks later.
Oh, so it was scratchcore record.
Yes.
So it was a sub-label.
Sub-label of Gamma Records.
They had a lot of sub-labels, scratchcore, scratch, and Hot Blood.
Yeah.
Do you know why was the reason?
I think it's for business reasons. They always tried to get as much money out of their bands as they could, and I think this has something to do with the contracts they've made. So that they were forced to give scratchcore records to a certain sub-label or bigger label that are organizing the selling and the distributing worldwide. And for this reason, I think that, but you have to ask them.
Yeah.
Because the last album, The Mistreated, it was Hot Blood. And but we had a deal with Gamma Records in those days.
So there is no difference between scratchcore and
No.
Okay. But did you like the bands? Witchfinder, General, from the UK, you were British metal band? Because some parts reminds me of Witchfinder, General.
The problem is that I step in from the side, up to this point of time, I don't know much about speed metal and thrash metal and what the others did. But on one side, it's a problem because in discussions like this, I can't answer. But in other cases, it's a great advantage, as you said by yourself, that we are different.
Yeah.
That is the reason. We are not influenced by Metallica's Sodom or whatever, because I don't even know their play. And so it was back in the 80s. I was at every gig, they asked me, "Oh, what you thinking about the new Slayer LP?" I don't know. And that's the reason. It's not very popular to say this, and I was, and many people, especially the interviews, hated me for that, because half of the questions they couldn't cut out. He doesn't know it, so we can't ask him. But that's the truth, and so it's the way it is. it's not the way like our friends Darkness that are living into the scene. They know everybody. They know the people from Creator. They know. I know nobody. Nobody. So this is. And the band split up between 1991 and 2014. That's quite a long time. In 25 years there was a match. There was many changes in the music industry. CDs coming up, then studio CD dying. You can't get any money by selling records anymore, and all the stuff changed completely. And when we did our first album, it was no problem to sell quite large amounts. And with this amount that we sell, so in our little corner of the music industry, you would be in the charts now. So it's everything changed completely. And I've heard that the whole music industry in Germany it's less than selling Christmas trees. Christmas trees. Yeah. They make more. Just Christmas tree industry make more money than the music industry does, and that's by selling CDs and downloads and stuff. So the whole industry is completely different, and everything else changed. That's the reason why so many bands started playing live again, because that's the only way to raise money. All these things.
And your bass playing is very technical. So who are your favorite bass players?
There are favorite bass players, but they didn't influence me. Of course, I'm a fan of Steve Harris, and there are many, and I'm a huge fan of Glenn Hughes, of Deep Purple. Not only because of the bass playing, but also why he's a very good singer. And I love them really, but you can't really say that I'm playing bass when I play bass, because I'm playing guitar when I play bass. I'm a guitar player, so and that for this reason I play the instrument completely different, like somebody would do that came into the handling of the instrument by playing pop music or something. It's completely different, and that makes or if you don't know this, it can sound technical, but it's if you play this, what I play on bass on a guitar, it's simple as that. But with the fat strings, it makes a bit more noise. But that's all about. But of course, I like when people say you are playing technical. But I'm not sure if it's really true.
Okay. So did you play a lot of concerts even in the 80s?
We did, but very local. We played in Germany and in the countries around. Then as the Iron Curtain fell down in '89, up to this point we didn't know that we had fans in the East. And we had far more fans in the East than we did in Western Europe. For this reason, we were very busy at the end of this phase when we were in Hungary, in Czechoslovakia, in Italy and everywhere. But then we split up in 1991, and we made a second try with a young guitar player that lives in the Netherlands now, Jürgen Utleb, and we did some songs and did a demo. We had a record deal, but the LP wasn't made because the industry changed. In 1993, heavy metal was dead. So for this reason, we had a lot of demos, and they came out in 2005 when all our albums were remastered, and came out again, and so if you want, the fourth album is coming out in three different speeds, but of course there are demos. These songs weren't meant to be published.
They were just a demo.
Just demos, and the final versions of the songs weren't recorded. This is a stage between. But they asked me if I have any bonus material, and I said, okay, I've got a whole LP, but it's only demos. And they remastered it. I think it wasn't much work to get a sound of this tapes. In most cases, it's just 4-track demos.
So you had the deal with the label for this fourth album?
No, we had a deal, but it was a deal that he wanted, the promoter wanted to check first that he can organize a distribution. Because everybody knew in this time that it will be hard, because heavy metal was slowly dying. Right, yeah, this grunge thing, and all the good bands, all the big bands had problems, like Judas Priest, even Iron Maiden. When you listen to their records in this time, they made the record a fourth or fifth time the same record, to my mind, because the music didn't change anymore. There was nothing new, and so we decided that it doesn't make any sense.
So you just made demo and
that was it. Yeah, that was it. We did 3 shows with Jürgen, but only in Germany, only very local. And the people wanted to hear the old songs. So
but
it was clear that the old songs in this time won't work. So we decided to split it up, and we made other music.
So according to some website, you disbanded in 1991, but reformed in 1992. Is it true?
Well, like I told you, this was this short piece, about a year, when we recorded the demos with Christoph on drums, and some of the demos weren't recorded even with a real drum. It was a drum machine, just because they were just demos, and Jürgen did some solo guitar work on these songs, but 99% of the work I did my own in my own room. So there were just demos.
The demo was recorded in 1992.
Most of them, yeah. 1991, 1992, in this area about. Yeah.
Okay. So the band name S.D.I. is very 80s name. If you're from the 80s, it's Strategic Defense Initiative from the US. So why did you choose that name? It's pretty much political.
Yeah, it's for many reasons. The main thing is I was 23 when we formed this band, and I was the oldest. So we had to decide a name, and it should be a name, of course, that is very brutal and very unique, and so what's the worst thing you can imagine? It's Satan. Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen to Satan? That he's raped, you know? And so we make a firm that rapes Satan. Satan's Declaration Incorporated. It's completely nuts, because we were young and didn't think much about it. And then we came to the record company and said, we are Satan's Declaration. And they said, oh, that's pretty long. Can you do something about it? And then we put the ink, and it was S.D.I. So we leave that whole crap out. We just S.D.I. and that's it. So it was just a story why the name came out. And once the name was there, you can't change it anymore. And there was no reason to change it. So the people always, this question is coming from time to time again. And that's one reason or one thing that people can discuss about. And it's nice. And of course, it's only 3 characters, and you can do graphically. It's fantastic. You can do everything with it. Now, on most names or most festivals, when we play together with other bands, you can only see something like fleas coming around on the poster. And there's one thing on one side that's S.D.I. Even when they print us that small, you can read it, and that's perfect.
Okay. So it was nothing political at all. It was
of course. It was when they said S.D.I. because everybody talked about it. This was this initiative to get the Cold War into the space by Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
It was completely nuts. Strange idea, didn't work anyway, but the everybody was talking about, and so for this reason, on the Sign of the Wicked album, we had a new speaker speaking Turkish, because a friend of mine comes from Turkey, and he is telling that everybody's talking about S.D.I. and even Gorbachev has much respect. So it's a joke.
Okay. So your lyrics are sometimes very hilarious, like I want a cartoon. Where did you get the inspiration?
I was young. I wanted to fuck.
You still do.
I still want to, yes. But I'm not that young anymore. It's simple as that. I found it very, very embarrassing to think about something that was happened thousands of years ago, and I don't know anything about it, but I write about the Scottish War from 14th century, a crap that has to do with my life. Now, but being together with a woman and to fuck her like there's no tomorrow, that belongs to my life, especially when you're young. So, and as I told you, we had 6 weeks. I crapped everything I had, played it twice as fast, and this was the LP. There was not much thinking about what do the people think about that when I use the word fuck in a song. And every time I meet people that don't know the song, they just constantly laughing. What did you say? I want to fuck you? Yeah, that's true. And I wanted, and I did.
And a quick shot.
And Quick Shot, that was because it was a large success, some kind of a hit, and we thought we can bring it on a peak in some way with Quick Shot on the Sound of the Wicked album.
So your third album sounded quite different from the first 2.
Yeah.
So was it intentional?
No. The problem was that we had a given time to record it, and on the way we had to realize that the guitar works won't work the way we worked in these days. And so the producer said that we have to change because in this case Rage came into the band and he wanted to play everything on his own. It had something to do about pride and stuff, but it didn't work because in the studio you hear everything, every small fault, every scratch, everything, and he wasn't used to this situation, and he failed. And so we had to get back because with the first 2 LPs, I recorded everything and the guitarist only plays the solos, and I did the rest. And so I played everything, and in the night I recorded on my own with Rage the solos, and recorded singing, every effects, the whole guitar work, bass, everything. And after 10 days without sleeping very much, and I was done. And so I didn't have the opportunity to be there when the mix was done, because I was too tired. I couldn't work, and I had to trust them, the producer, and they failed completely. I was horrified when I heard it, but the record company said, okay, we spent the money, that's it. The album is 4 days of work. That's quite expensive, and so they brought Mistreated with that mix, and up to these days, I'm not. I don't think that it's a good mix. It's just without love, without passion, without. It's just okay. We do that thing. And there's no freshness like the first LPs had. And we wanted to have the same engineer, Tom Krüger, who recorded the first LP, but he was busy at that time, and so he couldn't come. And the people we had to work with didn't know the band, didn't even know what is it about to record a metal band. And that's the reason why Mistreated sounds completely different. But that's not the reason that it wasn't that successful like Sound of the Wicked. The reason is that the songs were too complicated.
So you tried to be complicated?
No, I didn't try to be, but you know, you grow up and you are changing, and the things you think about change. And in the first LP, I was 23, and then I was 26. And when you remember your life, in this time that changed much. You think about marriage, you think about children, and that. I didn't think about such things when I was 23. So that's the reason why everything's changed. But it's not only with S.D.I. With most bands, the first LP is fresh, but in most cases a bit undone. And then the second album, that's the band like Iron Maiden, the Killers album. That's the first real
energy.
And yeah, everything fits. And with Number of the Beast, that was the
tour, but
yeah,
still,
yeah, and that was the LP that made the sound they still play. And with S.D.I. it was the first LP, like I told you, 6 weeks, everything run, having fun, drinking beer, everything's good. And with the second LP, okay, it works. We can do good music, so we had the time. And then the recordings and the songs were much better. And with the third LP, that was the problem, that that maybe I thought too much. I wanted too much. And when I listen to the music these days, and you listen to the first LP, I Want to Fuck You, and you think, oh yeah, that's great music, and then you listen to Mistreated, it's not the same band. And that for this reason, we are playing from songs from all albums, but the people love the fast tracks and the heavy tracks, and but yesterday somebody asked if we wanted to play not Kisses, but The Deal. That is a whole story. But I can't imagine that there's going on a mosh pit when you play The Deal. So that's the reason. And in live occasion we play all the heavy and the fast stuff, and that is what the live band S.D.I. is known for best, and that's fun. We want to have fun with people.
So you don't like the third album very much?
I did back then, and but you know, you're growing up and things happening. So there will be a fourth album, at the end of this year or beginning of 2018, and there will be more fast tracks, of course, because that's more S.D.I than the music we made on the Street album.
So you're now recording the new album?
Yeah, with Ralph. With Ralph, with our original drummer. You can say, in some way, it's, the band has got a live section that is playing tonight, and a recording section that's Ralph and me, and we're working. We've got 4 songs that are done, that can be recorded in studio, and we were working on songs so that there will be enough material by the end of the year to record an whole album, and we have to see if we can find artists that are doing with us.
So you already got the deal with the label?
No, up to now not, because there aren't songs, and I won't make the fault or I don't want to get under pressure, because I do it in my free time. I've got a job that everybody has, and so as we discussed, Ralph has a job that takes very much time. So we do it in our free time, and that's the reason why it will take at least till the end of the year, but there will be an album.
Why did you decide to reform S.D.I in 2014? What was the trigger?
I think Ralph was a bit bored with his life. So everything is working, the kids left the house, and so you have too much free time. And he didn't speak with me. He had a rehearsal room. He rented a rehearsal room, and he sent me a video via WhatsApp, and he wasn't playing the old stuff we did together in former times, but S.D.I songs. And he invited me, look, just let's try. And that was such a hell of fun to make this music again after 25 years, that we decided, well, let's look if we can find Rage, but that wasn't that easy.
Okay. So after 30 years, fans still love Mega Motion coming again. How do you feel about it? Did you have any expectation that you would be in a band even after the 30 years when you started a band?
I didn't expect anything in those days, but the thing is that I'm proud and I'm honored to get invitations like today. That's really great, and it's great fun. And what's the best thing about it is that they come to see us, and especially when we have headlining shows, it's original. They come because they wanted to see S.D.I. They wanted to hear this song, and for this reason, it's the best thing a musician can happen to. So I'm very proud, very honored. That's it.
Okay. And as you said, the Bloodsucker demo was released by FOA Records.
Yeah.
So did you have any other unreleased material that could be published in the future?
Yeah, like I told you, these 4 songs are ready, and we are working on at least 7 or 8 songs that will be the next album. But we, of course, there are some live footages, but I don't think that it makes much sense to make only a CD without watching. In those days when after every show there is live videos on Facebook. Yeah, so everybody has got a smartphone and is recording, and in some cases with very, very good sound. So it doesn't make sense to get I've got some very old recordings from the 80s, but I don't think I think I keep it for me because they are so good.
Wow.
Well, we'll think about it. Maybe when I'm 60 or something.
Okay, thank you very much. For the last, could you give the message to the Japanese fans, to the camera?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you, and I want to invite you, if you got the time. You won't hear it, but I love the show. I love the Japanese people, and be as you are. You're great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.